Gets things started with a first pitch strike on the outside corner. And game 2 is underway.
Hafner couldn't quite hang on to that one.
He tried to frame it nice there, too. A little down and away on that one. 2-1 count.
And Lilja outside runs the count to 3-1.
Absolutely beautiful game time conditions now. Game 2.
Says 47, but down where we're at, sun out, feels nice.
Feels pretty good.
This is definitely warmer than opening days in years past. I remember one in 2020, the 1st of March.
Throws down the first base to complete the strikeout.
And it was 60 degrees on the 1st of March. Of course, that was the COVID-shortened season in which we produced a documentary called The Final Out. You can check it out on YouTube, chronicling some of the seniors on that team who had to face with dealing a pretty fantastic blow to them, not being able to close out their senior season for the Knights. Lilja's definitely got some velocity.
Looks like our catcher's got a little velocity too on the
Zach
throwback.
Hafner used to pitch as well. I don't know if he still pitches. He has appeared in one game this season.
Popped up on the infield. Second baseman camps under it. And quickly 2 away.
Lilja has appeared in 2 contests this season, lost them both, started a game. But Tom, in 5 innings pitched, allowed 15 walks and 14 earned runs for a 25 ERA. So I'm sure he would be willing to admit that he would like a better outing today.
Didn't have his best stuff that day, I take it.
And I was just going to make a comment that his control looked a little bit better and unfortunately threw a ball way outside.
Just a bit outside.
I was thinking the same thing. I don't want to rip off the Uke, though. Definitely has some good life on his pitches.
Yeah, it just seems to be a matter of control, ultimately.
Inside. Almost hit him.
As an eerie silence set in at FNB for that pitch, I feel like my voice can be heard in the entire stadium right now.
Good pitch there for Lilja.
Takes the count to 3-1.
High, and that'll walk him.
A little upstairs with that, so let's be a 2-out walk.
Now batting, number 18, Reed Warren.
And Warwick. Definitely a little too close for comfort for us in that first game. Knights had a pretty big lead, but coming into the last inning definitely gave us a little nervousness, but ultimately did come away victorious.
Here we had another instance of appealing to the umpire standing behind the pitcher. An advantage point where you absolutely can't tell. You might as well just ask the pitcher if he went.
Remember, you can always go to centralpennknights.com to check out the live stats, as well as schedules for all of our games.
So 2 out in the inning, 2-1 count.
Warwick went 1 for 5 in the first game. Much of the offenses stayed relatively the same between both games for Fayette. But one of the things I don't know if we really had the chance to talk about in the first game, Tom, is that the Knights are as deep as I've ever seen them.
Agreed.
They've got an unbelievable crew of incoming freshmen, some of whom we're getting to see, like Wise, some of whom I believe we will get to see. Kozer, also one of those bright young freshmen. So a walk from Lilja.
Number 10, Ethan.
We just need to make sure that he doesn't lose complete control of his command here. He's got some really nasty stuff working, but seems like the control kind of comes and goes.
Again, we weren't at the game, but to see 15 walks across 5 innings, that's definitely not the stat that you want to see, but a beautiful pitch right there. I mean, the movement on that pitch is pretty incredible. I wonder, I'm going to be interested to see what type of secondary offerings he has. We have seen a couple off-speed pitches here, but mainly the fastball.
Predominantly fastball, yes.
So Hafner, one of the leaders on this team, has been with the team for several years now. One of our pitchers and catchers. He got the call there.
Gets the call on the inside corner for a change. Although we did switch home plate umpires for this game.
It'd be interesting to see how that figures into this.
I don't think this umpire will be given the high strike.
And as soon as you say that, right about the letters, doesn't get the call. Lilja the pitch.
Don't know if he checked, so appeal to this. And he, of course, doesn't know anything.
Hafner thought for sure that was it.
Not giving much love to the umpires here today, but this is a little foolish.
Well, to be honest, when you're an umpire, it's sort of expected that
True.
people, you're never going to make everybody happy. It's just not possible.
Just never seen a situation where an umpire standing near second base is in a position to make a check swing call.
And Lilja rings them up, and that will retire the side. Of course, 2 walks, but Lilja did not allow any of those to get home. And we're going to go to the bottom of the first with a scoreless game. The CPC Film Series returns for the spring term on Friday, May 19th, as Nightly News Hall of Famer Brian Christiana presents the film V for Vendetta. The Student Government Association will be sponsoring the event with popcorn, drinks, and movie-themed snacks available for donations to support the club. Put May 19th on your calendar now and make plans to come out for this free event. We're very, very much looking forward to having Mr. Christiana present. Of course, we did just sponsor the last film series when Dylan Bowman did 1917 and got to talk a bit about that movie and Academy Award winner. And that was, even though I'm not typically a fan of the genre, it was just a masterpiece. I just absolutely loved the film, and it was a wonderful experience to get to learn more about it and have Dylan and some of his friends come out and get to present after he graduated. So. Also wanted to thank Dylan. Dylan got first place in the Pennsylvania Student News Media Awards for a photo that he took here last April 21st when Stephen Armstrong had a grand slam at community night. Finished first in the state of Pennsylvania for all institutions less than 10,000 attendees. So this is an absolutely huge victory for the Nightly News in this competition, and certainly for Dylan himself. Dylan is still our athletics photographer, so any of the photos that you see on our stories for basketball and baseball, and that's coming right from Dylan. So he does a great job, and he's kind of stayed on board with us after graduating in December. So on the mound, Jorge
number
Palamas.
11, Owen Zell.
Of course, the Nightly News player of the game, Owen Zell, in game number 1. Not only his offense, but his defense as well. Owen Zell 2 for 2, 3 runs and a walk. Hoover also 1 for 2 with 3 RBIs, 2 walks, so he in his own right had a heck of a contest.
It's a pretty big pitcher for Fayette on the mound out there.
Number 26, Jorge Palamas, a senior from Upper St. Clair.
He's a big boy.
Pennsylvania. Zell quickly to 2 strikes.
Big boy, he just threw a nice off-speed pitch there. He had 0-2.
Paul Miller and Tom Davis here for the Nightly News. Of course, we will be here with you every home contest. Well, next up will be March 22nd. Next Wednesday, I'll be here with Steve Hassinger from Career Services. His debut on the broadcast. Zell is honestly one of your prototypical leadoff two-hole guys. I mean, just great contact, not a ton of power, but a great deal of speed. And there you see it.
It's going to drop.
And that's exactly what you were looking for. And he's going to take a wide turn. And, of course, the second he got on base, he was really able to get in the minds of Penn State Fayette pitchers in the first game.
We'll have to see what their pitcher now looks like going from the stretch.
Stevens, again, hoping to get out of the funk that he's in to this point. Did have a couple of RBI in the first game. Runner goes, and that's going to be a
perfectly
great
executed hit and run. Zell's going to get all the way to third ahead of the throw.
What a play there. Stevens 1 for 4 in the first game with an RBI, and now quickly his first.
Runners at the corners with nobody out.
Now batting number 14, Zach Boyer.
Boyer in the 3-hole this time. They moved Stevens up. And Hoover hit second in the first game. What can Boyer do here with first and third, no one out? Just got a piece of that. I think Stevens was into second. But I like this hit and run they're doing here. It's definitely something that when we talked with Dalton Kohler yesterday, it's definitely one of the things that he was hoping that we were going to see more of is some better situational hitting. And I mean, as good as they possibly could have hit in the first game they did. Runner goes again.
Right into the space vacated. Pitcher going to get, nope.
And that almost could have been
beats the throw
pitcher
to first.
interference.
Runner gets to third.
Zell scores.
And Zell scores.
Boyer with a big RBI single.
And now batting number 18, Nathan Wise.
Brings up Wise, who had an excellent first game as well. Quickly 1-0 here, Knights.
Popped up in foul territory. It looks like there will be a play.
And he does catch that. I know that was off screen, but he does catch that.
Tough catch right up against the dugout. Here comes Kevon.
This is one of our producers for the broadcast.
Number 2, Kevon Davis.
Prefers to be called Key.
I've never heard him say that, and I've known him very well for a long time, but I probably don't know if I would, just because I'm in such a habit of calling him Kevon. And the runner goes.
Catcher holds on to the ball, not willing to risk throwing it into center field and letting that run score from third.
Boyer with the steal.
Key's just looking for something to get to the outfield.
Second and third, only one down. This is a prime time for a hitter.
Shows a good eye there, takes it down and away.
And when I did talk to Kevon, one of the things that he said he was trying to do this year is to really reduce the number of strikeouts that he had. He likes to pride himself as a contact hitter, but said he struck out way too many times in too many big situations last year. And you can already see a little bit more patience just in this first at-bat we've seen of him this year.
Taking some time to see some pitches.
So you can already just tell from over last season to this season, the way he's approaching this at-bat is much different than he had in the past.
Really forcing him to throw strikes here. 3-1 count.
Got time, kid.
just gets a piece of that.
It's like he got him out on his front foot just a little bit. Picked up a little bit of a hitch in the swing on that one. Just a little off-timed.
Well, Davis still looking for his first hit on the season, is 0 for 9 on this young season. High and tight, and that'll walk him.
That'll load the bases.
We'll definitely get to talk about Kevon quite a bit more this season. Like I said, I get to know him very well because he works on our production team for Knights basketball.
47, Gabe Kaufman.
We're going to see Kaufman, one of these first-year players for the Knights. He's got the bases loaded with only one out.
First and third baseman are playing tight.
Thomas is definitely struggling here. He's not able to overpower people in the same way that maybe some of the Knights pitchers have to this point. And that's stroked to left. Kaufman, 1-run scores.
It was hit too hard to score more than one run.
Boyer will hold, but Stevens.
Solid line drive to left field. Right in the 5-hole.
Now batting number 26, Colby Criswell.
2-0 as Criswell takes the stance. Right down Broadway for strike one.
Looked like a tempting pitch, but you got to make him bring it to you.
Again, go to centralpennknights.com for all the schedules. We will be here for 5 more dates, 10 more games after today, as well as an April 4th morning game at In the Net in Palmyra.
We pulled the hands in to get to that, but couldn't do anything but pull it foul. Tough pitch. Puts him in an 0-2 count here.
Also going to see Finke, who's a catcher, first baseman type here for the Knights in his senior season. The one good thing, even though we brought in a lot of new players this year, is we still have such veteran leadership in Stevens and Boyer and Finke. And again, I don't want to leave anybody out here, but those are the 3. Of course, Hafner as well. Hafner was disappointed last year that he got injured and missed basically the second half of the season. So he wants to prove something here this year as well. And of course, one of the tough things for Stern is trying to get everybody playing time.
Non-competitive pitch that time.
What can Criswell do here? 1 for 3 with 2 RBI in the young season for Criswell, and that's inside. That might have hit him. Either way,
it will push a run across.
On the wild pitch, Boyer scores. Davis to third, Kaufman to second. So takes away that double play opportunity, and it's 3-0.
3-0 Knights in the bottom of the first inning.
Sounds eerily familiar to last game. If you have your calendar handy, we will be here at FNB Field on March 22nd.
The count wasn't accurate on the scoreboard.
March 31st, April 18th, April 21st, and May the 2nd. Of course, April 21st will be community night, and we have that contest at In the Net against Penn State York on April 4th.
2 away in the inning. Here's Hunter Finke.
So in looking to the season for Fayette, they started off the season with a 3-game set at Westmoreland County Community College and won 2 of those. 2 of the 3. Since then, Tom, have lost 7 of 8, with the only win coming against Vassar.
Wow.
In Winter Haven, Florida. So they got down
They
to
must have
Florida.
played well in the warm weather.
They also lost to Bucks County Community College, who's one of our big rivals. 9-3 and 13-3 in 5. Finke, the big cut, comes up empty.
A little tardy on that one. 2-1 count. 2 down, runners on second and third. I think he just gets a piece at the plate. Stays alive.
Quick 3-run lead for the Knights. Combination of a couple of really nicely placed base hits and a couple of walks, as well as some aggressive play on the bases. And here comes Davis. There's going to be a play at the plate. He is safe.
Looked like the spot where the pitcher attempted to apply the tag was too high, and he slid in under the aggressive base running, but it pays off here for the Knights as they push across a 4th run.
Not happy about the call, but it was the right one. I mean, he was dead to rights, but Davis ended up sliding around the tag. So 2 wild pitches lead to 2 runs here in the first. Palmas really struggling.
Another one.
And here comes another play at the plate. And that is
another safe.
Kaufman makes it.
And of course, Finke gets to first on the walk.
Quickly 5-0.
Now batting 00, Zachary Hafner.
Really struggling here is Palmas.
Taken all the way. Runner on first, 2 down. Knights have pushed 5 runs across.
It's going to be inside from Palmas. And the Knights really playing well here today in the home opener. And Hafner right out the third. That will end the inning, but not before the Knights push 5 across here in the first inning and take a 5-0 lead.
That was definitely in on the hands, that one.
It's hard to study when you're hungry. The college pantry can help. Central Penn College and your Student Government Association are committed to ensuring that all of our CPC Knights have access to food when they need it. Requests are kept anonymous and can be submitted online. Look for the link under the links section of Student Central or contact Lindsay Garber, the Director of Housing and Residence Life at lindsaygarber@centralpenn.edu. We'll be right back. All right, we are back here. Paul Miller and Tom Davis here. We're going to be in the top of the second. Knights lead 5-0. And Lilja, that one skied to deep left.
Field.
Good catch. One quick out. And so I guess the next question would be, what do you think Lilja's feeling after getting that spotted 5 runs there in the first?
He's got to be feeling pretty good right now.
Now batting number 13.
He can more or less go right after the hitters. He doesn't have to worry about getting too fine or too cute with his pitches. Let the defense work.
.46 degrees here on opening day, March 18th. A little chilly this morning, but not bad. And behind him there, just outside.
Now batting number 44, AJ Segura.
Big cut.
Good off-speed offering there.
And Lilja with a runner on first, one down. And that one's going to go to right.
Right at the right fielder.
Nice play out there and right. And quickly 2 down. And I'll tell you, if Lilja can keep delivering this efficiently, it's going to be a quick day.
Yes.
I mean, that's just got to be the greatest thing. Coming in, your team spotting you 5 runs, and it just, like you said, let's just throw strikes at this point.
Yep. Let them put it in play.
Great pitch on the slider. Lilja works quickly. And they're going to go on Hafner, and Hafner's got a great arm just a little bit outside, so that is going to be a steal.
Looks like some pretty good speed on that base runner, too. Got a pretty decent jump. Tough to throw somebody out when they get that good of a jump.
Back to the Ayanu. Big cut, and Lilja.
Big strikeout.
I would say a huge strikeout there. And we're going to go here to the bottom of the second with the Knights up 5-0.
Hey, Knights Nation. Your athletes are in great hands with our athletic trainer, Emily Horn, on the sideline. The sports medicine
Just
team...
another reminder, baseball fans, any foul balls can be turned in at the concession stand for a free item.
The sports medicine team at Select Physical Therapy helps your athlete recover from injury and prevent future injury. With convenient locations nearby, care is never far away. Go to selectphysicaltherapy.com to find a location near you today.
And Zell steps in, our nightly news player of the game from game number 1. See singled and scored as well as stealing a base in the first.
Swings at the first pitch here. That one's going to run out of room.
And there's a free item for somebody in the crowd from the concession stand. We'll be back here with you next Wednesday at 1 o'clock for a doubleheader.
Squares to bunt, pulls it back, takes ball 1.
We'll be here against the College of Southern Maryland. I don't know exactly where that is, but if I had to take a guess, I would imagine Southern
Somewhere
Maryland.
in the south of Maryland.
With as narrow as Maryland is, where would Southern Maryland actually even be?
Right.
Because south of Baltimore is Washington, not in Maryland.
That's a good question. Somebody call Rick Dempsey.
Zell will foul it straight back there. Zell just an on-base machine. Has reached base every at-bat so far today, which I'm sure he's very pleased with because he got off to a tough start to the season.
He's really showing how dynamic of a player he is today. As you said, he might not have the power tool necessarily, but it seems like he has all the others.
Absolutely, no question. Speed, defense, hit tool's very good. And he's gonna put that one back and out of play, up into the press of the sweet level.
Still rolling down the...
Somebody can get a free item if they go get it. And Zell back again. Except that one's going to go over the roof behind us. Zell, full count. Five-0 lead here, and Zell gets wrong up. Zell was halfway down first base to the first baseline until the call was made, and that was a tough call to go down looking, but you can't take anything away from Zell.
Number 27, Ryan Stevens.
But the umpire had himself a good time on it, so...
The look on Zell's face was priceless when he looked around and saw he got run out. And Stevens, this is going to be a tough play. Well, made it pretty routine there.
Pretty routine grounder there, right? The 5-3 put out.
Burns, the third
Now
baseman.
batting number 14, Zach Boyer.
And Boyer. Zell the strikeout. Stevens the ground out. And the pitch. And Boyer sends
Opens
one
up,
way
pulls
outside.
that over there where my car's parked.
There's a potential to get hit out there. Boyer quickly 1-1. Palmas delivers. And into the gap.
You're gonna get it
Although
over.
they had him shaded left, and that was very well played for that flyout. Quick 1-2-3 inning for Palmas and Fayette as we go to the bottom of the second. Knights lead 5-0. Don't forget the CPC Health Center is open every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 11 a.m. till 5 p.m. in Super Suite 127. And the best thing, no appointment is needed. Just stop by anytime the health center is operating. They can evaluate and assess minor illnesses and even provide free basic healthcare products and referrals to off-site specialists and providers. And Tom, I'm not sure if you were aware of this, it's not just for our students, but also our faculty and staff as well.
Yes.
We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with you in just a moment.
Kyle Ridley.
Ridley steps in, coming here in the top of the third. Lilja not allowed a hit to this point.
Showed bunt, but was unable to pull it back, according to the umpire, anyway. An eerie hush falls over the stadium again.
Ridley struck out in the first. That one was a little high. But, I mean, that's the kind of pitch that actually looks like a really, really good pitch.
Looked like a strike.
Just not getting that high pitch to your earlier point. And that's going to go to Boyer at third. He struggled getting it there the first two games. He got it there. Just wasn't on line, though. I think one of the things that you have to look to, the guy at the hot corner's got to be able to make that throw effectively every time.
Every time.
And, I think Zach, very highly of Zach, and I'm sure he would tell you the exact same thing, that's something he wants to work on.
Yeah, he just needs a lot more reps.
Well, and what's interesting is 2 years ago, Boyer was our second baseman. Last year, he was our shortstop, and this year he's moved to third.
So they must have confidence in the strength of the arm.
Lilja going to be outside and low. Runs the count to 1-1. What are you thinking here about Lilja, your first time seeing him?
I think he has some really good stuff. It's just the control seems to come and go. If he can figure that out, I think he can be very dominant for the Knights. I mean, that right there was a great pitch.
That's as nice of a pitch as you're going to see. It had a little east to west break.
That was like a nice two-seam fastball.
And that was a little off speed, just inside. But again, there's one of those borderline pitches that easily could have been called a strike.
Yeah, that one looked like it just spun out of his hand a little differently. That one had the
3-2
right
comes
break.
straight on back.
Ground ball to third, fielded cleanly. See if they throw across, and of course the out.
Despot, 5-3 put out.
Pretty textbook. So 2 away in the inning. Bases are clear.
Now batting, number 16, Sawyer DeAndrea.
DeAndrea caught the first game, DHing here in the second.
Yeah, sometimes when he tries to throw that fastball for the outside corner and it's not the two-seamer, he just kind of loses it glove side. That one was arm side.
Electric stuff, though. There's no question
Absolutely.
about that.
That was an attempt at a curveball.
I mean, if that's the time you want to do it, with no one on base and 2 outs with
Right.
a 5-0 lead.
And he certainly wouldn't have been looking for a curveball 2-0 either.
It's going to be inside and a 4-pitch walk to DeAndrea. And Warwick steps up.
Now batting, number 18, Cade Warwick.
And the pitch, Lilja outside. You hope that Alex can get through this inning with 2 outs, with keeping them scoreless.
Yeah, already 2 down. He has to get one more batter here.
And Hafner is able to not necessarily keep it in front of him, but keep the runner from advancing.
Just got to get this control back here. Falling behind hitters is dangerous.
And he's just not going to get that inside corner call. That's like the 3rd or 4th time this inning he threw that same exact pitch. Didn't get the call on any of them.
There's a strike.
And that's the pitch that he was looking for. And the strike runs the count to 2-2. Paul Miller and Tom Davis here for the Nightly News at FNB Field. And that's going to be outside and walked him.
Back-to-back walks Still 2 down. Knights have 5 runs on the board.
Now batting, number 10, Ethan Rendelich.
Rendelich struck out in the first.
That sunshine feels lovely.
About as nice of a day as you could ask for in the middle of March for opening day, that's for sure. Inside, almost hit Rendelich. Burns on deck. Will just has to get out of this inning here. Keep him off the scoreboard. Still no hits, but has walked 3.
There's a strike.
Excuse me, has walked 5 to this point. 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and 2 here in the third. Big cut there from Rendelich.
Again, it looked like something off speed that got him there.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Lilja to get out of this inning. And the pitch just gets a piece of that. We'll be here next Wednesday and then the following Friday afternoon. If you can take a half day at work, come on out to the ballpark. And of course, Tom, I think the best thing, always free baseball when you come out to FNB Field for the Knights.
Absolutely. So if you can come out, come out.
Do have concessions here for purchase, but free games here at FNB Field for the Knights. And that gets through the 5-hole, hits off the umpire. And Hafner does manage to come up with it, but not before both runners could advance.
That's a wild pitch.
Now, what happens in that situation? Obviously, the umpire can't call himself for interference, but he essentially did interfere with that ball.
Yeah, it's no different than if a ball hits the second base umpire in play and stuff.
And there's a shot to center. Can somebody come up with it wise? Can't quite get there. 2 runs are going to score.
Just a bloop single that found some turf.
Not much you can do about that. It's also the first hit as well. And Rendelich knocks in 2.
That's exactly how the walks will burn you, though. 1 hit and 2 runs.
Now batting, number 11, Josh Burns.
I wonder if his middle name is Monty. And looks like a quick meeting at the mound for Hafner and Lilja. Fayette now trails 5-2 off of their first hit off of Lilja today. Again, but to your point, Tom, the 5 walks will catch up to you no matter how well you're throwing.
Yep. 2 outs in the inning and still 2 runs scratched across. With 1 hit.
Rendelich on first. Burns at the plate. Beautiful off-speed pitch there from Lilja. Burns 1 for 2 in the first game, along with 2 walks to reach base 3 times in game 1. Very, very, very similar to the previous pitch, maybe an inch or 2 higher, but didn't get the call there. And a big cut from Burns comes up empty, runs the count to 1-2.
Just reared back and he couldn't catch up to that fastball.
1-2 for Lilja. Can he get out of this inning without any more damage? A hit and run. And that ball out of play. Remains 1-2. (5-2) Knights lead. Won the first game 12-8. Hafner not happy about that call either.
And the count runs full. Runner at first will be off with the pitch.
And that's outside. Just going to throw it back.
That's a walk, right?
No, the scoreboard was
is
incorrect. So that might have confused a lot of people. Now the count is full. Big strike.
Big
and
difference.
Lilja strikes out Burns. But the damage is done somewhat. The Fayette Penn State is able to push 2 runs across, and the Knights still lead 5-2. Lilja only giving up 1 hit, but walking 5. The Central Penn College app was designed with students in mind. The app brings the school to your fingertips and enables you to connect with the Central Penn community. Stay on top of your events, classes, and assignments with the built-in calendar function and get notified of important dates, deadlines, and security announcements. Make friends, ask questions, and access campus resources at any time. Search Central Penn College in the App Store. Wise steps up to the plate. He has been wonderful to see. One of the key new additions to the Knights. Nathan
Now
Wise.
batting number 18, Nathan Wise.
Wise went 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored in game number 1. Also 2 great double plays along with Owen Zell. This pitcher reminds me a lot of a Jamie Moyer type, sort of the crafty, certainly not going to blow you away, but Palmas has really struggled to try to stay within the zone. And if you're going to be able to throw with decreased velocity, you have to have pinpoint accuracy.
Ball got away. I thought the first baseman scooped it, but it snuck past, so that will be a runner on first.
One of the things I'm pretty surprised by is some of, and honestly, going both ways, is some poor infield defense.
Well,
Relatively routine plays.
I will say that
Now
scoop at
batting
first base is
number
hard.
2,
And we're spoiled by watching the pros.
Davis.
That is a tough play to make that scoop at first, especially after the first inning when the dirt's been.
Davis walked and scored in the first. That's going to be foul. Wise had already basically been to second base.
When you take a look at all of the cleat marks and how everything is out there around first base already, you're going to get some tricky little hops.
Fair enough.
But yeah, you do want to see more of those plays made for sure. But they are tricky.
But I guess the thing is none of the things I'm talking about have anything to do with the cleat marks. They have the ball in their glove. They just need to make the throw.
Right.
What can Davis do here? Like I said, he walked and scored in the first. Still looking for his first base hit on the season. And there goes Wise, and they're not going to get him.
Definitely not getting him on that.
I mean, I would love to see a race, but Wise has got to be in the top 2 or 3 fastest Knights. Especially with that jump that he just got.
Certainly looked at there.
I know Montero is extremely fast as well. And the pitch from Palmas is low. Definitely increased patience here from Davis. I'm very surprised. You can already see it. And again, we had some of these discussions in our own personal conversations. And he said he wanted to be more patient. That very easily could have been a balk, but
I don't even know what they just said. One reset?
it might be some of the limitations that you have maybe they're trying to implement some pitch clock things for their games. That's something that we're not necessarily privy to, but I'll certainly talk to Coach Stern about that.
Yeah, it seems like there's like this undisclosed set of rules that are being enforced here.
Oh, I'm sure they're disclosed. We may just not be privy to them.
Yeah,
And that looks like
not
it hit
disclosed to
Davis.
me, but
Somehow, I mean, that honestly looked like it hit Davis in the hands, but we're just going to call a
caught
foul
the piece
there.
of the bat. Yeah.
Kevon Davis, the junior, he'll have one more year of eligibility. Started his college playing career at York College. Played there for a season before coming to the Knights last year. This
Pretty
is
good take there on a close pitch.
This is year 3 for Davis, so he'll be a senior next year. Way back.
Pops it straight back.
Out of play. There's a free item for somebody. One and 3 o'clock next Wednesday. The following Friday will also be 1 and 3, I believe. And then an 11 o'clock start. We do have some evening
Chopper to
games there.
short. Routine play. The runner advances to third.
April 18th, 3 and 5 o'clock on a Tuesday, and then the community night is
Now
at 5 and
batting
7
number 47,
on the 21st of April.
Gabe Kaufman.
So what can Kaufman do here at an RBI back in the first?
He's got a runner out there at third with less than 2 outs. Love to scratch one of those runs back.
High, but definitely a little bit more velocity than Palmas has had previously.
Yeah, he's tricky. He looks like he's going to bring a lot more velocity.
And a shot to center, but caught by Penn State Fayette.
That will bring in a run, however, on the sac fly.
Wise scores. It's now 6-2 Knights.
So a very productive out. Solid contact. Center fielder was just able to get to it. But pushes across a run. 6-2 Knights.
Now batting, number 26, Colby Criswell.
And here is Criswell.
Takes the first pitch away for a ball. So 2 down, bases empty. Knights up 6-2. Big swing and a miss from Criswell. Even up the count at 1-1. The 1-1. Swung on and hit to left field. That's a base hit. Clean single for Criswell. Knights are still alive.
Now batting, number 58, Hunter Finke.
That'll bring up Hunter Finke with the runner on first. Finke trying to keep the inning alive. First pitch swung on and fouled straight back our way. Count is 0-1, not 1-2 as the scoreboard indicates.
Just as we have a second here, Tom, I really just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in. You all out there are the reason that we do this. We obviously love to do it. It's something that we're very passionate about. And one of the things that we look forward to do every year, but it just really means a lot that we've had continued support from our viewers out there. So thank you so much for continuing to be a part of nightly news broadcasts. I think he looks like he took the short end of that one.
Yeah. Looks like second base might have been stolen.
You know,
the hit and run may have very well been on in this situation, though.
One of the biggest things I have seen is how aggressive Stern is with runners on the base paths trying to hit and run.
Yeah.
so far, it hasn't really come back to bite them at all.
Close pitch, but taken outside for a ball.
One ball, 2 strikes, 2 down, bottom 3. That's outside, 2-2.
That looked like an ephus pitch, just kind of floated in there.
Is it Senga for the Mets that's got some crazy pitches coming over from Japan?
Yeah, Senga's got, it's called a turbo splitter, and it's pretty wild.
And Finke muscles it to left. And that's going to be over the left fielder's head. And Criswell rounding third. Finke with the double and the RBI. And Criswell scores. That's going to make it 7-2 Knights.
Nice piece of hitting there from Finke. Brought the hands in, drove it to left field, just off the left fielder's glove.
Finke with the big 1-run double. And Hafner up.
Now batting, 0-0, Zachary Hafner.
Palmas really getting himself into a jam here. 7-2, only here in the bottom of the third. We kind of talked earlier. They left their starting pitcher in way too long in the first contest. In fact, I believe he allowed all of the earned runs.
He may have, yes.
Did number 7 Gainer. And there's
Nobody
no one
covering.
at second. They had him, but now you can see why.
The umpires once again have called for a disengagement, so it seems like that version of that rule has found itself in USCAA competition.
And Finke will take third on the passed ball. And what can Hafner do here?
3-0 count.
Inside.
Taken all the way. So runners at the corners.
Zell comes back up to the plate, was retired for the first time today in his last at-bat with a strikeout, but did single and score in his first at-bat on top of being the Nightly News Player of the Game in Game 1.
Number 11, Owen Zell.
Looks like Howard is into pinch run and
Ripped by Zell.
Ripped it to the right field, but unfortunately directly at the Fayette right fielder, and that's going to retire the side, but not before the Knights tack on 2 more and lead 7-0.
Some action in the Knights bullpen as well. We may be getting a pitching change at the start of the inning.
Central Penn College is now partnering with Handshake, our new career management platform, to help students and alumni discover new career paths, and find amazing jobs and internships. We understand students can be busy, so we've pre-populated some basic information on your profile for you. Simply click on the Handshake tile on My Central Penn or download the Handshake app to your phone for quick access. Alumni and employers, contact career services at centralpenn.edu to find out how you can join us for free on Handshake. We'll be right back. 7-2. Knights lead. Lilja was only allowed 1 hit, did allow 2 runs.
13, Braden McKnight.
McKnight up to the plate for Fayette. Right back up the box. Wise makes a great throw.
Great throw.
I'm really impressed here by Nathan Wise. He seems like he is going to be an amazing player for the Knights for years to come.
Pretty good strong throw there. Because that ball traveled pretty deep there behind the base.
Number 44, AJ Segar.
Of course, you can always go to centralpennknights.com for live stats and a schedule. Looks like that's going to be a walk.
Drilled number 44.
Now batting number 2, Johnny Ianov.
Segara there hit number 44. Ianu.
That was a
0
first
for
pitch
1.
strike. Fastball, center cut.
Another nice pitch coming straight back. Ianu grounded out in the second to end the inning. And Lilja's really been hammering the strike zone this inning.
Just a little tardy on that fastball.
And Lilja just high.
Ball had a little bit of movement on it too, but it must have gone around the plate.
Again, I not getting that high strike. You've been making that point since the first inning. 7-2 here on a beautiful opening day. And that gets away from Hafner.
Well, that'll put a runner into scoring position.
So that's not the first time that's happened to Lilja. What do you see happening? Because he's got pretty decent command, and then you'll see him throw and sort of mail one of those balls. What do you see happening?
It has to be a mechanical issue.
I mean, a pitch like that.
It has to just be reproducing his release point.
That was a fantastic pitch to get.
Bottom just fell out of that one.
Ianu. Ridley's going to lead off here. Well, hitting lead off.
What I've noticed is sometimes it'll leave his hand on his glove side or his arm side, and like right there, perfect across the body, straight over the top, downhill, and was a perfect pitch. But sometimes he holds it too long and pulls it across his body, and then they're outside, and other times it spins out of his hand glove side and ends up. Sorry, arm side. It spins out and ends up inside to righties. One and two. Knights up 7-2.
Just inside there again. Another one of those close calls.
Started at the hitter and was going for the inside corner, but again, it's that release point.
Outside, but good job by Hafner to keep it in front of him.
Very nice stop by the catcher.
That's
Again, just
Adley Rutschman-esque.
right. Just seemed like his arm was too out in front of his body that time, and he just yanked it outside.
It's a runner on second for 2 down. And high, runs the count 3-1. Again, the nightly news will be on the broadcast for every Knights home game this season. Again, Lilja outside, but Hafner keeps in front of him so the runner doesn't advance. And another walk.
Another walk.
As great as Lilja has been pitching, he has now walked 7.
Two outs in the inning. Knights up 7-2. See, and it's telling that it has to be something mechanical because he's missing everywhere. Up, down, left, right.
Just outside. That was a pretty close pitch as well. It also doesn't help that he's not getting some of these calls. I mean, he is, to your point, kind of wild inside and outside of the zone, but he's not getting any close calls either.
Right.
It's almost like that three-quarter slot, to your point, he's just hanging on to it too long as he comes across his body, and that's why
That's when he pulls it and goes outside. And then other times it's like the arm drops and the ball spins sideways out and then it goes toward the hitter. There was a better one.
much better. It's almost like his arm slot is changing. I mean, some
That's
pitchers
mechanical.
do that, but some pitchers do that intentionally.
Right.
I remember David Cohn was always good at moving his arm slots. And now he walks the bases loaded here. And this is where you have to be extremely careful.
7-2 lead for the Knights, but that can dwindle away very quickly here in a heartbeat.
And DeAndrea, who had
Now batting,
a big game the first
16,
game.
Sawyer DeAndrea.
And so this is probably
gotta-
not the guy you want at the plate.
But you got to make him beat you. You can't give another free base.
Big strike there from Lilja, and that's certainly the pitch that he wanted.
Working quickly from the stretch.
And there it was again. You can almost tell when it's going to go outside based on where his arm slot is. And that's not good as a pitcher at all if,
No.
any tells you give are going to be picked up.
And if your arm ends up that far out in front of your body, you're not in sync.
Nice pitch, but high.
Just think about how the golf swing works, right? If your arms are swinging too much ahead of your body, your torso rotation.
And outside again, 3-1. And this is where you start getting a little concerned. Lilja, 15 walks in 5 innings coming into today. And there he's going to walk in a run. And this is where Stern is going to be coming out to the mound.
I believe we're going to see a pitching change.
And only 1 hit allowed by Lilja, but 7 walks. And again, the MO for Lilja is just not having good control. He's definitely got electric stuff.
But he doesn't necessarily know where it's going.
And Lilja is going to exit, pitched well. Would have liked to have gone a little deeper in the game, I'm sure, than 2 2/3. But that being said, good job for Lilja to give our Knights an opportunity to win this contest. And Adam Hoover is going to come in. We're going to give Adam Hoover a few minutes to warm up, and we will be back here with you in just a few minutes. And that, Hoover enters the game, and that is going to be right off Boyer's glove. And a single is going to drive in 2 runs. And that is going to change things dramatically here, Tom.
Looks like it just snuck inside the foul line down there.
Now batting, number 10.
Just the right spot to hit the ball.
Rendelick singled and drove in 2. And at this point, the tying run is at the plate. So Hoover's got to get out of this inning. 2 down, only needs 1 out.
First pitch strike.
And Hoover, the pitch. They were putting on a hit and run there, but fouled off and quickly 2 strikes.
Yeah, it seems like that's almost a given in the first and third situation because they'll just try to draw a throw. Because it seems like the catcher just won't even make the throw. So if they're going to give you the free extra base, you take it.
One ball, 2 strikes, and Hoover fires.
He's out.
And waiting for the call. They got him. Great throw by Hafner. And Wise applies the tag, and that's going to get us out of the inning. But 2 more runs knocked in by Fayette to make this game 7-4.
Nice quick catch and release and a strong, accurate throw there. You could see that developing. It was just waiting for the correct call.
So we're going to move here to the bottom of the 4th inning. Knights lead by 3.
Don't forget, the CPC Health Center is open every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. in Super Suite 127. And the best thing? No appointment is needed. Just stop by anytime the health center is operating. They can evaluate and assess minor illnesses and even provide free basic healthcare products and referrals to off-site specialists and providers.
And again, we mentioned this earlier, but it's also good for faculty and staff in addition to students. We will be right back. And Ryan Stevens will step in. Singled in the first.
Try to get something going here for the Knights in the bottom of the 4th. Just a bit upstairs for ball 1.
Remember, you can always go to centralpennknights.com. And that's going to get through for a base hit.
Another clean single in the left field. Just served it right up. Weighted back nicely and just drove it to left field.
Looks like the score is 7-5. Snuck in an extra run there. Runner goes, and Reyes the bunt. Stevens, so it looks like Reyes came in for Boyer in that last half inning.
Well, the bunt worked, moved the runner into scoring position.
And with only a 2-point lead, or 2-run lead,
Now batting, number
every run
18,
counts.
Nathan Wise.
hope Boyer is okay. Didn't hear anything about an injury, but it seemed odd that he would have been pulled when he did. But that's right back up the box.
Nice positioning by the second baseman. Makes the catch.
Boy.
He's not able to get enough on the throw, but excellent effort there.
Wise legs out a single. Now first and third, only one down for Davis.
Now batting number 2, Kevon Davis.
Getting some reminders from Coach.
And Davis squares to bunt. And Wise, I mean, the speed that he has on the base paths, I mean, this guy is 5-tool. I mean, he's hitting cleanup. He's great in the field. Speed.
And again, what I've noticed about USCAA play is that they will very often just go for that steal of second base when there's a runner on third.
And Davis fouls that off. Should get out of play. That was up into the first row of seats above the dugout. Runs the count to 0-1. And let's see what Davis can do here with second and third and one down.
And that was his pitch. It back up the middle. That's going to score 2 runs.
Big hit there for Davis. 2 more runs that quickly.
That was a pretty big clutch hit there for Key. May have been the key to the whole game. That's 2 very bad puns today, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize.
Maybe you should pre-write some puns for next time, and we can actually prepare our puns.
Maybe I should.
Knights lead 9-5. And Kevon Davis's first hit this year is one of his biggest.
Now batting.
He is a pinch runner comes in the run for him
Kaufman.
after he does his job. So, yep, and the Knights continue their aggressiveness on the base path. This is a stolen base.
The thing is that
that's a straight steal. I'm not sure who just came in to run, but that was
looked
pretty
like
good
Montero.
Speed. Montero. He was brought in expressly for that purpose.
The thing is most of these catchers just really struggle with making the throw down a second. And that's like the 3rd or 4th time he's went to pick off a runner on second and there wasn't anybody at the bag. That's a really tough play, though. I mean, you almost have to to be able to communicate telepathically in that situation. Right through the wickets!
That's going to push across another run for the Knights.
And Montero scores.
So that stolen base looms large now as he's able to sneak in a run.
Making it 10-5. The Knights have certainly shown some offensive firepower.
Number 26, Colby Criswell.
Shows bunt. Again, here is the straight steal of second base.
Until you see the catcher actually
I think it's very rare for a catcher in the USCAA to have the kind of arm strength to be able to consistently throw runners out, steal in second base. So I think you take that risk. It's a statistical decision, right?
It's tough. You would think, I mean, Hafner just threw somebody out. So, I mean, I don't think it's unusual that a catcher should be able to throw someone out at second. I will say that the Knights are extremely fast. Top to bottom, we have a lot of speed, which it just doesn't seem that Fayette has. And
big cut from Criswell.
Palmas is really at a loss here. He's really struggled, even when he does throw the ball over the plate, to not get hit hard. And the pitch. And Criswell, a big hit, is going to push the runner over to third base for Hunter Finke to get a shot at an RBI with 2 outs.
And Hunter Finke had a pretty big hit last at bat.
Number 58, Hunter Finke.
Finke back in the second, the double in the RBI.
Launched one to left center field.
In the gap. very slow pitch there.
Just too high. I know my eyes would have gotten very big at that pitch, as I would have swung and missed.
Good pitch there from Palmas. And the pitch. It's going to be outside. And the Knights hang on to a 5-run lead thanks to 2 in the third and 3 here in the fourth. Behind a 5-run first.
Quite a difference in the hits column between the two teams, too.
Check swing.
When you consider how many runs Fayette got due to walks, they have exactly 3 hits to our 11 hits.
Remember, we'll be back here with you Wednesday afternoon. Hopefully it's supposed to be in the 60s. And that's going to get through. And Burns couldn't come up with it, and another run will score.
Another RBI for Finke. 2 on the day for him, I believe.
Time has been called. A mound visit for Fayette. It's 11-5. And again, Tom, here's a situation where, in terms of mercy, get this poor pitcher out of there and get someone else in the game. He's clearly doesn't have his best stuff today.
Now
I don't see anybody stirring in the bullpen, though.
Zachary Haefner.
And you did make a point in the first game that I just want to reiterate, and that is that Fayette is playing 2 here today and is playing 2 against Christian tomorrow.
See
so
that?
4 games in 2 days.
That time, they did a pitch out on the first pitch because they were expecting them to just take second base.
I don't know that Finke is going to be running. Not to say he can't, but
I think they were trying to outthink Coach Stern on that one.
Well, it's one of those situations where until you throw somebody out, they're going to keep running on the base paths. Haefner did not look too pleased with that pitch, and I can only imagine that it's because the Knights aren't getting some of those pitch calls.
Exactly.
And there's a shot to center, but right at the center fielder, and that's going to retire the side, but the Knights tack on 4 more here in the bottom of the 4th. We're going to go to the top of the 5th, and the Knights lead 11-5. We'll be right back.
He's a super proud papa.
Now batting number
All right, we are
10,
back here.
Ethan Redmond.
FNB Field. Knights lead 11-5. skied to short left. This is going to be really tough. Wise almost comes up with it. That's going to be a base hit and actual double.
Yep. Due to triangle.
In fair territory there. Reyes couldn't come up with it. Wise had the best angle, but, I mean, really tough play. And, I mean, you can't really call that an error. I mean, that's just a base hit.
Number 11, Josh Burns.
Yeah, it tends to happen when there's a convergence of like 3 players like that, and it just falls right between them all.
And Hoover, tough break there for the Knights.
I will point out that the scoreboard now says 53 degrees. Foul ball.
Just foul. I've got 49. But the scoreboard says 51, so we'll go with that.
Yep.
Hoover, really tough double there. Wise so close to coming up with it. Gonna be outside, gets away from Hafner, and he's got a shot.
Nope.
I mean, if anything, that could have been batter interference because the guy was right in his road, and I think that's almost why Hafner held up, because he was afraid he was going to hit him.
Yeah, he may have had a chance there. Although it also looked like he double clutched, like he didn't have a good grip the first time.
So the 1-2, and that's going
That ball is hammered to the right center field gap.
And that's going to go all the way to the wall. This will be an easy
triple.
And the run.
That ball was just driven to the right center field gap. No one was going to catch that.
Now 11-6. Knights hold on to a 5-point lead, 5-run lead. I'm in basketball mode here with the tournament, so I keep thinking about points over runs. So pardon me.
Just called him for a balk. Oh, come on.
I'm still confused by this rule. Since when do you have to announce? Is that new? I mean, I don't ever remember them calling that last year.
Yep, never heard that before.
We're going to have to get some clarification on this.
Yeah.
Regardless, the runner does go back to third after the triple.
I mean, how often do you see a runner at third being held at third?
Never. Hoover the pitch. It's going to come right back to him. Can Zell make that? No. And it doesn't look like that was Zell out there anyway.
RBI single up the middle, so it's now an 11-7 game. Here in the top of the 5th inning.
This is getting very interesting here, folks. The Knights, this is sort of what happened in the first game as well. The Knights get off to a big lead and then let them right back into it.
AJ Cigaro.
So Cigaro comes up to the plate. And he sends one deep. This one looks like it will be caught, though, for the first out of the inning.
So he went from the stretch. I assume he told the umpire, I'm going to go from the stretch now.
I suppose again, that's something new to me that I am not familiar with.
Now batting number 2, Johnny Iannone.
And Hoover.
I think there's only one out.
And I believe he echoed your sentiment there, that there was only one down. There's also another run on the scoreboard as well, 11-7, with one out.
And now it's a full count. I'm not know if that's true or not.
Thought he had him asleep over there on first. And he goes. I'll tell you, Hafner almost hit this guy too.
Yep.
Hafner not happy, but that wasn't really his fault. I'm actually really surprised interference wasn't called there. That was clearly interference.
Yeah, I would have a letter for the umpires union of USCAA.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
Questioned many things today.
Got just a piece of that. Ianu, the 9-hole hitter. And that is just going to dribble foul.
Right up the first baseline.
And the sun has gone behind the clouds here.
It has.
And hopefully we get a little bit more warmth for these last couple of innings, but it's questionable.
Scoreboard is down to 47. Good block.
Good block, King. Good block.
Great block.
Big strikeouts. That's only 2 down, though. Hafner thought, just like we all did, that was the end of the inning, but now 2 down. As we move back to the top of the order for Ridley with a runner on second base and 2 down as the Knights hold on to this lead. Hafner's got a shot at this one, and again doesn't even take an attempt at throwing him out. Not sure what happened there, but 11-7 here. And that's going to be a challenge.
And the top of the inning comes to an end.
As we roll to the bottom of the 5th, the Knights hang on to an 11-7 lead. Central Penn College Student Government Association is a voice for all students, those living on campus, those studying online, and those returning to continue their education. SGA is here to make your time at Central Penn College the best experience possible. You can contact SGA with any questions or comments by emailing sga@centralpenn.edu. One of the cool things I do think about SGA is that they get some time with the president of the college. That they can voice their concerns directly to the president and her cabinet. So again, when Central Penn says that they believe that the students should and have a voice, they do through SGA.
Students are family.
And we will be right back. Owen Zell, our Nightly News player of the game in game number 1. Offensively hasn't been as successful, but did get a single and a run scored in the first. He's going to try a bunt there. He did have a heck of a stroke in his last at bat, unfortunately, right at the right fielder.
I'd be hard pressed to pick a player of the game right now, considering unless we gave it to their pitcher, because of all the runs that.
Well, fortunately, we still have a couple of innings before that decision needs to be made. And especially because this is your game to select said player of the game.
You're putting the pressure on me.
And the pitch. It's going to be outside to Zell.
So it's either 1-1 or 2-1. Oh, looks like 3-1.
And the pitch, and Zell. This is going to be a tough play.
He's got the speed to leg it out. Yes, he does.
And another single.
Infield single. Again, there's that tool.
Now batting, number 27, Ryan Stevens.
Stevens steps in 2 for 3. So you were talking about earlier the players of the game, and we were talking about how Stevens had struggled thus far. Of course, Stevens is certainly a candidate. They're going to get him, but he's basically got a 2-base steal.
He's going to score a run. We just saw one of those Little League plays right in front of our eyes.
So basically a 2-base sacrifice and then an error on the first baseman scores L.
There's something you don't see every day.
Now batting, number 14, Zach Boyer.
Here's Boyer. Takes a first pitch curveball in the zone for strike 1.
So what I was getting at earlier, okay, so you have Nathan Wise 2 for 3, Gabe Kaufman 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs, Kevon Davis 1 for 2 with 2 RBI, Finke 2 for 2 with 3 RBI. I mean, there's a lot of people who've contributed.
We're going to have a co-player situation, I think.
Well, we typically want to try to avoid that unless there's no other possible way. We got to make some decisions here, Tom.
What award do they get?
Just the player of the game.
Because there was one run on the 5th. There was a guy who came from 3rd. So to keep it, but just change
We don't do that. We're not in control of that.
Good catch there.
What? You'd have to talk to.
Sorry about that brief interruption, folks. 12-7. Knights lead. And again, here's just another, I don't know how much more we can say this, but this has got to be difficult on the starting pitcher here, allowing 12 runs, 13 hits, and walked several more. Wise has definitely been impressive in his home opener debut here. 2 for 3 and 2 runs and made a couple really nice plays at short.
Oh,
High and tight. And Wise has some tremendous speed as well, a couple of steals.
Three 3-1 count. Here comes the delivery, and that's a ball in the dirt. So a 2-out walk keeps the inning alive for the Knights.
Some really interesting stats available on CentralPennKnights.com.
Number 2, Kevon Davis.
You've got total number of pitches, batters faced, ground ball versus fly ball versus the leadoff batter with runners on. And today, the Knights are hitting .333 with runners on.
Key squares the bunt, pulls it back, takes a strike, and that ball's going to go into center field and put a runner at third.
You feel for this catcher at this point. I mean, he is just he is really struggling today. And what can Davis do now with a runner on third?
Another run just 90 feet away.
And
nope.
Good piece of hitting, but right at somebody in that will retire the side. But the Knights tack on another run, and they're going to go to the top of the sixth, up 12-7. All right, we are back. Paul Miller and Tom Davis. It is 12-7 Knights. Adam Hoover stays out there to keep on cruising, hopefully. Beautiful day for opening day here at FNB Field. We'll be here 5 more times this season.
Popped up on the infield. Looks like second baseman settled under it.
And Zell, another great play. And we are but 5 outs away.
And I called it on the whole temperature on the scoreboard thing again, didn't I?
As soon as the sun came out, now I'm up to 53 degrees. Now that we're into the last really full inning, what are you taking away from the Knights here? What are some things that we're seeing that we should be happy with? What are some things that we're seeing that we might want to kind of go back to the drawing board on some things? And that is deep.
Crushed to left field.
That's
Fair
gonna
ball.
double there for that crushed ball off the outfield wall there, down by the Ollie's side. But back to the question, what are some positive things that we can take away from today's, hopefully, 2 victories?
They know how to pressure the other team's defense. They have some really aggressive base runners, some good speed. They're not all trying to hit the ball out of the stadium on every swing. Like that.
And that's another deep one. And that is going to hit off of the wall, and that is going to score back-to-back doubles. There is somebody warming in the bullpen for the Knights.
Back-to-back balls struck with some authority there, too. I think, honestly, in terms of what they need to tighten up, it's going to be their defense, and it's going to be command on their pitchers with the free passes. First pitch is in there for a strike. Count goes to 1-1.
And there's another tattooed shot.
Almost able to turn the double play. Runner got back just in time.
Finke heads-up play there. All right, so we talked about some of the great things. Let's take a look at some of the things that we hope to continue seeing improved. I know that you mentioned just simply control. One of the things I would like to see is a bit better infield defense. I will say that Zell and Wise made some really nice plays, But some struggles from Boyer and Miller today in both contests allowed some runners on base that shouldn't have been there. And again, those are just the things that ultimately will catch up. And again, to your earlier point, just the sheer volume of free passes, both hit by pitch and walks. And there is the type of throw we're looking for from Boyer. And that will retire the side quickly. And that one run at it, it's going to make it 12-8. The Knights only lead by 4. So this is going to be a great contest here in this final inning. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back, FNB Field. Paul Miller, Tom Davis here with you. 12-8. The Knights lead by 4.
Now batting, number 9, Nick Fulton.
We saw Fulton pinch run earlier today. This would be his first at bat. Squares to bunt, doesn't. And there's another one. We talked about Montero. We talked about Zell and Wise's speed. Fulton's just as fast as any of those people.
Lots of pesky base runners on our team.
I think what we miss from teams in the past is that big bopper at the 3-4 with guys like Connor Graham, Chris Rosario. We miss some of that.
The home run threats.
The home run threats. Again, it's hard to say. I'm sure Nathan Wise would probably give me a hard time because he's probably hit many home runs in his career. But I do think that we don't have that power threat that we had in years past. Even last year with Jared Rivera as well. Yeah. Fulton collects his first walk.
I'll take it.
Now batting, number 26, Colby Criswell.
And Criswell comes to the plate.
Down to 48 again. This is funny.
And the runner goes.
There they go.
Fulton hesitated and still made it in there in time.
Second base. Yep. They're just running all over this catcher.
Again, Zell did the same thing earlier. I have never seen somebody breaking to second halfway down the line stop and look back.
Nor have I.
And Zell did that twice.
That's only if they're expecting a hit and run.
Criswell fouls it straight back.
It's a strike on the inside corner.
Bottom of the 6th, just have to come back out and get the 3 outs in the top of the 7th. And that will do it here with a doubleheader sweep for the Knights. Comes up empty, does Criswell. Three pitches, 3 strikes. And now we're going to see Morrell in his home debut for the
Now
Knights.
batting number 21, Ronyel Morel.
From Harrisburg High School, the freshman,
I
somewhat of a
definitely know
homecoming.
where that is.
We are there.
Yeah, I don't know this young man yet.
Never gotten to meet him, but looks like he's got some potential home run power. Like to see what Morel can do.
You can take that stuff all day.
And here's another big thing that it's just now really occurring to me. A lot of left-handers for the Knights as well, in addition to Zell.
Yeah.
Criswell, now you've got Morel. So you can really match up. I mean, top to bottom, the Knights are just really stacked.
And I would imagine there aren't that many left-handed pitchers in the league either.
That's true.
So having that many lefties, when the chances are you're going to face a righty most times, is definitely an advantage. I wonder if any of them are switch hitters.
I do not have any of that information on my sheet.
Well, of course, if any of the players from Game 1 were batting righty, that are now batting lefty, we'd know that way.
Trying to see if there's any coal region folks. Millval, PA. That's out toward that way. Couple from Enola, we see. McLean earlier was from Harrisburg.
Comes the 3-1. Swung on and missed. Takes the count full.
Several players from Carlisle on the team as well. And the pitch.
Swung on.
Morel.
And that will get down. Will score a run. So that is an RBI single. Welcome to the club.
Morel gets his first home base hit this season. And it looks like they're going to try to keep him in this game. I'm not really sure. I mean, he's already allowed 13 runs. I mean, why even take him out at this point?
Yeah, I think that was a timeout from our guys, and they're just taking advantage and go to the mound. Because we just made a pinch runner at first. I wonder if they're immediately going to try to take second.
I would imagine so.
Seems to have been the strategy of the day. Oh, they are making a pitching change.
Well, that's going to give us an opportunity to step away. Knights cruising. All right, back at it. Hafner reaches first base. Now first and second.
Now batting number 11, Owen Zell.
Well, Tom, hopefully you're able to narrow down somebody for player of the game here, because there are many.
Sounds like I'm going to go with whoever had the most RBIs today, my friend.
Well, there's a few of those. Zell coming in 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored.
Zell just makes things happen, though.
Does get the strike there, does Vig. Again, we were just sort of conversing off air here that it's surprising that Penn State Fayette's manager went to a pitching change there. Now Zell skies it to left, and he got that one. And that will retire the side, and we are going to go to the top of the 7th inning, where we'll give you the nightly news player of the game, and all the Knights have to do is stay away from the 6-run inning, and we should be okay. So we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back in just a moment. We go to the top of the 7th. All the Knights have to do is stay away from the big inning. Justin Miller comes in. I'm going to kick it over to Tom Davis to give us the announcement of the Nightly News Player of the Game. What I will do, though, Tom, is give you some stats. Gabe Kaufman, 2 for 3 with 2 runs and 3 RBI. Kevon Davis, 1 for 3 with 2 RBI. Hunter Finke, 2 for 2 with 3 RBI. So those are certainly some of the people.
I think we have to go with Mr. Kaufman.
Okay, so we're going to give the Nightly News Player of the Game here in game number 2 to Gabe Kaufman, the right fielder. 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored and 3 RBI. Great game, Gabe, and we look forward to having you on the team and having many more games just like this one. So congratulations go out to Gabe Kaufman, Nightly News Player of the Game here in game 2 as the Knights cruise against Penn State Fayette.
So I'm pretty sure he drew a walk as well, didn't he? And it's another hit for...
Oh, and they had the force out at second, but the throw was wide.
Good backup at third, though, to prevent that from being a Little League play.
Yeah, Boyer was able to keep that in there, and Wise tried to stay on the base because he knew he had somebody behind him. And all Miller has to do is get out of this inning.
is strike one. 3 outs away from taking both games of this doubleheader.
And the pitch. Finke doesn't apply the tag, doesn't need to. Miller was an excellent pitcher last year as well. Shorter reliever. He did start a couple of games, but didn't usually go more than 3 or 4 innings. But again, I think that speaks to what the Knights are trying to do with some of these. We talked about the piggybacking of starters and sort of, to your earlier point, openers and starters, if you will. So I think you're going to see a lot of 3 and 4 inning outings. Because when I had Coach Stern on the podcast recently, you know what he said? He said that this is probably the largest pitching staff he's ever had. Unfortunately, Boyer cannot come up with that.
That was a hot shot in the left field. Good defense to keep them there to a single.
And here is where we are going to start getting a little concerned, as we did last time.
Boy.
Excuse me.
Now batting number 15, Kyle Ridley.
13-9 now. Knights lead by 4. With first and second and the tying run on deck.
Still nobody out in the inning.
They've got to find an answer in the late innings. I don't know if you just turn to somebody, and probably what's more than likely going on is that Stern is trying to see who is going to work.
Right.
I think Kozer was probably the guy he would have wanted to be in there, but he did not pitch well in game 1. And that will be high, not getting that high strike that we've been talking about all afternoon.
Definitely not. That looked to be about belt high. The ball's way outside. So we've got a full count with runners on first and second. The Knights just need 3 outs.
And that is what they needed.
Get the force out at third.
Take 1.
Take the sure out at third.
That's exactly what the doctor ordered there for Boyer and Miller.
Now batting number 22, Andrew Despard.
Okay, with 1 down here.
One down for the Knights. Just need 2 more outs to get out of here with a doubleheader sweep, and that.
Right at the left. Nope.
And he's not going to come up with it, and that ball goes all the way to the wall.
That was one of those sinking line drives.
And they're coming to the plate. And he got him at
Got him
third.
at third base.
Huge play, even though 2 runs score.
They do get the second out.
And clear the bases, most importantly. Man, this game is very, very close.
Very.
Now batting number 16, Sawyer DeAndrea.
And DeAndrea is the one that played so well in the first game, driving in a couple of runs. Can Miller get out of this game?
Just
2 outs.
1 more out. No matter what the scoreboard says, he just needs 1 more out. Brings the count to 1-1. But the call there at the bottom of the zone.
And Miller. So there was so much happening on that last play. I'm not sure if you noticed, Hafer didn't even try to tag the guy out at home. And I think he had a decent play there. did very, very wise to go to third to
Heads
get
up
that
to get him
out.
to third,
But I
yeah.
wonder, it really looked like he had a shot at home, and he just totally gave up on the tag. Maybe he was just conceding that run to get the sure out at third, although it certainly wasn't a sure out. Boyer needs to make this play, and he does, and that's going to do it. And the Knights,
Take both games.
both
of this
games,
doubleheader.
Tom, were enough to give you a heart attack in the 7th, but they did it, and they were victorious here 13-11. Gabe Kaufman, Nightly News Player of the Game, and gosh, what a great opening day here. The Knights get back on track, move their record to 3-5, and we look forward to being back here next Wednesday for another doubleheader.
Penn State Fayette versus your Central Penn Knights.
And the Knights victorious in both contests. Certainly it was a difficult in terms of the pitching.
A lot of runs scored today.
Yeah, a lot of runs scored, a lot of offensive firepower, but in the end, the Knights are victorious in both games. They have some things they're going to want to take away from this, but definitely the way that the Knights wanted to come out here their first day at FNB Field. So, well, that's going to do it for our broadcast. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Of course, you can always watch these on demand after the game. So we'll see you again next Wednesday at 1 o'clock for another doubleheader of Knights baseball. Tom, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, my friend. Always a pleasure.
We'll look forward to having you back here later on this season, but in the meantime, you can always go to centralpennknights.com for more information. Until next time, this is Paul Miller and Tom Davis from FNB Field.